This is University of Arizona Wildcat basketball, and this is the Tommy Lloyd Radio Show. You're always invited to join us at Union Public House for great food, basketball, and some fun. Now, Arizona Sports Enterprises presents the Tommy Lloyd Radio Show. With the coach, here's your host, the voice of the Wildcats, Brian Jeffrey.
All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Union Public House and a special Wednesday edition of the Tommy Lloyd Radio Show. We are going to be here on Thursdays starting in January, but this being our second show, we're going to do it on Wednesday. We want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and we'll take our holiday break after tonight's show, and then back here on January 8th. That is a Thursday night, then every Thursday night through the end of the regular season, so we invite you to come on out. We're outdoors again, and why not? It's a beautiful night, beautiful day here in the desert, and we enjoy being outdoors. Great time to sit back and enjoy the holidays as well. All right, what we've got coming up, obviously, Coach will be here in a couple minutes. We also have a very special guest tonight, another head coach who's going to be playing a game on January 2nd in San Diego. That's going to be your hint, and we'll get to that coming up a little bit later on. And then Saturday, the Wildcats are going to be up in Phoenix to take on San Diego State. That's part of the Hall of Fame series, second game of a doubleheader up there on Saturday night, 6 o'clock, Stanford will be taking on Colorado, and then Arizona and San Diego State will follow right about 8:30. That's at the home of the Phoenix Suns, now known as the Mortgage Matchup Center. So again, 6 o'clock, the first game, Arizona, San Diego State, right about 8:30 or so. The Aztecs, by the way, are playing their Mountain West season opener tonight at home, taking on Air Force Academy, and then they will head up to Phoenix as well and join the Wildcats there for the game coming up on Saturday. Other than that, we look ahead. Arizona will have two more non-conference games before we get to the Big 12 schedule on the 22nd. That's Monday. It's going to be a quick turnaround. Bethune-Cookman, another team known as the Wildcats, will be in town. And then the 29th, South Dakota State will arrive. Those are the last two of the non-conference season. And then after that, we will get into conference play starting on Saturday, January 3rd against Utah up in Salt Lake City. And that opens the 18-game Big 12 schedule. We'll keep you up to date on those as we move along. Wildcats remain number one in the AP poll this week, followed by, yes, that deserves some applause, absolutely, followed by Michigan, Duke, Iowa State, UConn. Purdue is number 6. Then comes Gonzaga, Houston, Michigan State. BYU rounds out the top 10. Also, some other teams that are on the Arizona schedule. Alabama dropping to number 16 after their loss to the Wildcats last week. Kansas is number 17. Texas Tech number 19. Auburn is number 21. And Florida is number 23. So 9 teams out of the top 25 the Wildcats have either played or will play this season, so you know how tough the schedule has been so far, and when we get to Big 12 play, it's just going to ratchet up a little more after that. Just a quick note on San Diego State, again, 5-3 with their game tonight against Air Force, but 2 of their 3 losses have been what you could call respectable. They lost to Michigan. The Wolverines unbeaten right now. That game was in Las Vegas. It's part of the Players Era tournament, and it was a 94-54 loss, and then they also lost in Vegas to Baylor. Their other loss came at home to Troy University early on in the season in double overtime. We'll talk more about the Aztecs coming up tonight as well. So that's some of the things going on. Coach is coming up. We've got questions from the audience. We'll talk some football as well a little bit later on. Want to thank you for joining us here at Union Public House, the Tommy Lloyd Radio Show presented by West Coast Trial Lawyers. And back in a moment, this is Wildcat basketball from Arizona Sports Enterprises. All right, we continue from Union Public House. Thanks for being with us again. Arizona, after the win over Abilene Christian last night, 10-0 on the season, and playing San Diego State Saturday up in Phoenix. The Wildcats had 6 men in double figures last night, led by Braden Burries, 20 points, his third 20-point game of the season. Cat shot a season-best 6-6-7 from the field. Meanwhile, San Diego State, another team like Arizona, always in March Madness. They've been to the big dance the last 5 seasons, including a run to the Final Four back in 2023, and coming off a season last year where they went 21-10, lost to North Carolina first round of the tournament. The year before, they got to the Sweet 16, and the year before that, of course, to the Final Four, lost to UConn back in 2023. Wildcats led in scoring, really, by 2 guys, if you want to look real closely at the statistics right now. Koa Pete is averaging 14.3, and then you've got Jaden Bradley right behind at 13.9, and Braden Burries has upped his season average now to 13.8, and his last 5 games has really started to come alive here, that 3-game homestand and then the game at Alabama and the game last night as well. 99 points over the last 5 games for Braden Burries. The other thing that stands out about Jaden Bradley right now, he's only turned the ball over 5 times over the last 5 games. That's remarkable when you think about a point guard that you're going to handle the ball all the time. And the rest of the guys continue to grow, and that's what's fun about a season like this. And when you get to see the young guys in particular, I know the fans were really happy last night to see C.D. Gay come in and get some big minutes last night, and also scored 4 points in the ball game, blocked 3 shots, and had a couple rebounds as well. So it's fun watching these guys continue to grow up as the season goes on. Some other games you might want to keep an eye on Saturday. There's involving Big 12 teams. In fact, some top 25 matchups. Houston playing at Arkansas. That's going to be interesting. John Calipari's got the Razorbacks off to a 9-2 start right now. Duke and Texas Tech playing at Madison Square Garden on Saturday. That is kind of the semi-home court, it seems, for the Blue Devils. Texas Tech is ranked 19th, as we mentioned earlier. Auburn is playing at Purdue. That's number 21 Auburn, number 6 Purdue going at it. Some other games going on in the Big 12 on Saturday, including South Dakota State at Kansas State. Florida Gulf Coast will visit UCF. Eastern Washington will be at Utah. Again, the Utes are going to be the Wildcats' Big 12 opener January 3rd up in Salt Lake City. We talked about the Stanford-Colorado game. We'll see them, of course. Ohio State, North Carolina playing on Saturday. St. John's at Kentucky. Oakland at Michigan State. So that's just some of the upcoming action that you want to keep an eye on. I know the coach is going to keep an eye on San Diego State. He's watching a lot of film on the Aztecs, and we'll talk about them coming up. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Sorry, there was an accident on Campbell. So I caught it, and luckily SID of the year, Nate, navigated me through the side streets, and we made it close to on time.
Well, just happy you weren't in the accident. That's all.
No question about that. I don't know how that car was on its side. I don't know how that happens on Campbell, but yeah, scary stuff.
Okay. Well, it's only been 24 hours, not even that, since the win last night over Abilene Christian. I know it's always fun to talk to you after you've had a chance to kind of digest the game. So other than the win, what did you like about last night?
That our guys continue to kind of figure out what our identity is, and and are starting to identify what the things we value on the court. Those are the things we've really been focused on lately, and we're in a continual build, and I've kind of talked about how we've kind of tried to build the season thus far. We had that stretch of 4 or 5 games at the start of the season that was really daunting, and we won some close games and kind of got through that. Then we had a couple weeks at home where we really wanted to take advantage of and see if we could kind of start developing into the team we really wanted to be long term, and so we poured a lot into those couple weeks, and practice, and kind of film, and just getting after it, and not just resting on our laurels. And we wanted to build for those for that kind of those Auburn and Alabama games coming up, and I thought our guys did a great job of that. Now we want to continue to kind of galvanize. We don't want to let down. So I thought our guys did a great job of that against a really scrappy Abilene Christian team. Obviously, they got us to turn the ball over 18 or 19 times. Which it's a testament to what they do defensively.
All right, speaking of defense, your team held Abilene Christian under 40% last night, but also the Wildcats had 12 steals in that ball game. That's a big part of defense. And is that just an instinctual thing with some of your guys, or something you work on a lot?
I think a little bit of both. Some players have great instincts, to attack the ball, but we want to build a defense that's disruptive. And anytime you can turn your opponent over, it's a big deal, because, basically if they don't get a shoot, they can't score. And obviously at the end of the game is to score more points than the other team. So, it's really as simple as that. If you can get a steal, and then a lot of times that leads to transition offense. So you just put those two things together, and it can be really effective. So, I think our guys are doing a good job, kind of our positioning and some of our activity defensively. And anytime we can turn the other team over and get out in transition is a good thing.
All right, there's a million statistics, of course, in sports, and basketball included in that. Your fast break numbers are up a little from a year ago. You're always going to run at a higher tempo. Is this team running at a higher tempo?
I've been thinking about that. I honestly haven't looked like the possession numbers or possession length, and I know there's so many stats out there. People would probably be surprised. I don't get inundated with all those. I'm going much more off feel and the vision for how we want to play, as opposed to just being addicted to statistics. At times I'm wondering, like, man, why have we not had a game where we scored 110? But maybe this team's not built like that. So at times I feel like we're not as fast, but I feel like we're being really efficient. I think we're being, we're kind of getting some grit defensively, and I think we're building a team that's going to be hard to beat. And to me, that's the ultimate objective, is just having a team that's hard to beat, as opposed to being addicted to a stat or an analytic.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've asked you this before, but when you pick up the box score after the ball game, is there one thing you do look at that you're most interested in?
Usually rebounds and turnovers would be the first two things, and then the shooting percentages for both teams would kind of be where my eyes go right away. And then free throws, I always want to see. I mean, one of the indicators for me is, are we making more free throws than our opponents attempt? But that's kind of a good breakdown for me.
All right. Sometimes when guys hit their senior season, and I'm not with your team, but you see it sometimes where they start thinking ahead. Okay, this is my last year. I got to show off now because I want to play pro basketball somewhere. You've got some seniors that have looked very unselfish so far this season. How important is that really to the development of the entire team?
Well, it's super important. Creating a culture where unselfishness is the norm, and kind of an honored behavior is really important. And basketball can be a selfish game, so there's always going to be on that fine line, and you want guys that are aggressive, and you want guys that want to be successful individually. I mean, you don't want just a bunch of guys that are basically deferring and trying the other guys to do it. So it's just finding that strong, that good balance. But our seniors are great guys, and they're great leaders, and they've done a really good job helping these young guys kind of get accommodated to college basketball. And I think you're seeing the young guys are really talented, and they're good guys as well, and I think they're growing up really fast right in front of our eyes.
Jaden Bradley and Tobe Owaka don't seem to be concerned about how many points they score. Jaden is more interested in helping the team assist-wise. Tobe just simply owns the glass.
Yeah.
And is that, again, an example of two guys that I've never asked them if they even know how many points they have.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's two guys that are really comfortable with their identity and their value they bring to the team. And the number one objective for them is winning. And then I think another objective for them is sharing. They want to share the opportunities and share the success with their teammates, and so yeah, those two guys have done a great job. I mean, I throw Deli into that mix too. I mean, Deli's made a lot of sacrifices, this year, and I think he's playing really, really well, and I love what those vets are bringing to the table for sure.
All right, Cats and the Aztecs Saturday. We're Union Public House with head coach Tommy Lloyd. More coming up. This is Wildcat Basketball from Arizona Sports Enterprises. Tommy Lloyd Radio Show presented by West Coast Trial Lawyers, and we are getting set for the Wildcats and the Aztecs Saturday. We're also going to talk some football tonight with another very popular coach coming up. That's in a few minutes, so stand by for that. And speaking of the Saturday game, tickets remain available for the game up in Phoenix at Mortgage Matchup Center. Again, it's a doubleheader, 2 games for the price of 1. 6 o'clock Stanford and Colorado, Arizona, San Diego State to follow right about 8:30. You can get your tickets through Ticketmaster or by visiting HOFseries.com, and we look forward to that. And Coach, speaking of the Aztecs, I mean, this is when you think about strong West Coast programs, Arizona, UCLA, Gonzaga, St. Mary's, etc., San Diego State's right there. I mean, they are always good.
100%, and they've had such an incredible run over. I mean, I don't even know how maybe the last 20 years. With Coach Fisher, then passing it off to Coach Dutcher, there hasn't been a drop off. So I got a lot of respect for those guys. They're great guys. They do things the right way, and we know Saturday's game is going to be a real challenge. I mean, for whatever reason, they're not ranked. But like, to me, I wouldn't read too much into that. I mean, I think they're going to be as good as a lot of the teams we played all year, and we're going to have to play well to come out on top.
I think you mentioned their defense in particular has always been kind of a calling card for them. What do they do?
Well, they're just really sound defensively, and they do a great job playing in the gaps, and they get down contesting shots. They're physical inside. They'll double your post. They can give you different looks on ball screen coverages. They're just really sound, and they're convicted. If you're convicted to something and you coach it well, it usually has a chance to be successful, and they've proven that.
Okay, so you mentioned Fisher to Dutch. So I mean, Did he change things at all, or again because he'd been there as an assistant?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's been an evolution, with any change, but I think the core characteristics of the program remain the same. I mean, they're going to have good athletes. They're going to be strong defensively. They're going to be sound offensively with some players that can make individual plays, and they play the right way. They play for each other, and they got a culture. And it's just been really impressive. I mean, I think we need to remember they're 3 years removed from being in the national championship game, and that's no small feat, as we know.
Yeah. Okay, so I think you mentioned last week you like playing these games in Phoenix.
Yeah.
And hope to do it if you can every year. Why is it important?
Well, we'd love to make it an annual deal. Obviously it's Phoenix is the largest population base in our state, and it's our largest alumni base, and there's so many Wildcats up there and Wildcat things that we think it's important that we take our program up there to share it with our fans up in the Phoenix area, and we'd love for our fans in Tucson to follow us up there, whether go up there for some holiday shopping or just to go up to the big city and try something different. I think it's really important that you continue to grow that. I think this will be our third time. Is it our third time up there playing?
Sounds right.
Third or fourth time. We'd love to make it an annual deal, and then as we continue to build it and grow it, make it a real event where we celebrate all things University of Arizona. Not just the basketball program.
I want to go back to the Alabama game for just a moment, and Jaden, there was a lot of not pressure, but there was kind of a spotlight on him coming back and playing in that state again. He seemed to handle it extremely well. How did you view it?
I mean, JB's rock solid. He and I never even talked about it. We kept it simple and kept it, just a normal game approach, and he's mature enough to handle it. Like I said, people are sometimes, for fun, try to make a story out of nothing. Yeah. And, there's been a lot of guys that have transferred in college sports these days. And JB happens to be one of them. And, he didn't necessarily have a horrible experience or no ill will at all towards Alabama. It just didn't work out. And we were fortunate enough to get him the second time around. And, man, he definitely made my life a lot better. And I appreciate having him. But I thought he handled that game really well down there. I mean, he didn't try to make it about himself. He was about the team playing well, and when he had opportunity to impact the game, he did it effectively. And other than that, he kind of stepped aside and let a freshman have his moment. And I think that says a lot about Jaden Bradley.
And that's freshman Braden Bruce followed it up with another 20-point game last night. It's not like all of a sudden just the light came on, but what have you seen from him in these last two games?
He's gotten comfortable, and he's gotten certainty and a little more confidence. He's a really talented player, and we knew that all along. And I think it's just really important. I know this from coaching, a lot of years that things that come easy aren't really valuable, and things that are learned with a little bit of struggle, there's real value in that. So, he struggled, and he came out of it the other side, and he's a better player and a better person because of it. And what I'll say about Braden is he met that challenge head on. There was no defiance or lack of trust. We just kept plugging away, and we knew the breakthrough would come, and I think we're seeing it, and I wouldn't be surprised if he continued to play at this level.
How valuable is it for him to back up Jaden in terms of the point guard position and allow Jaden maybe to get a little extra rest here and there? I
think it's really valuable. One of the things I'll just say with Jaden is, he's really shared. And, in practice, a lot of times we're practicing, and I'm not really big on, picking the five guys on the court to practice or what positions they kind of play. They usually, the main guys are kind of out there. They get a lot of the reps. Positionally, guys fall in place. But what's been really interesting with Jaden is, he's played the two a lot in practice because he wanted Braden to get a lot more reps at the one. And so I just think that's a real sign of maturity. And Jaden's embraced it, even to the point where I've maybe seen some of the things we've done and say, wow, when Jaden's running the two, that looks pretty good. So maybe we need to think about running that for him in a certain way. So I really appreciate that about Jaden, and he deserves a ton of credit for that.
All right, one more segment with head coach Tommy Lloyd, and then we're going to talk some football tonight, getting set for the Holiday Bowl. That's all ahead. This is Wildcat Basketball from Arizona Sports Enterprises. All right, the Tommy Lloyd Radio Show presented by West Coast Trial Lawyers, Arizona San Diego State coming up on Saturday. This is our second show and our last in December. So we'll take our normal holiday break, and we're back here on Thursday, January 8th, and then every Thursday night through the end of the regular season. We invite you to come out and join us any Thursday night starting in January. And thanks again for coming out tonight. All right, Coach, a couple of questions here from the audience before we let you go here. Kevin would like to know, he says he sees you talking to the officials like all coaches do. Do you feel like, I'm trying to shorten this up here, do you feel like you're satisfied with the explanations you get from officials? If you object to something, do they always communicate well with you?
I always tell them how good of a job they're doing.
Okay. And they always do a good job.
I know, honestly.
No.
The officials are fine for the most part. And most of them are great guys. And they're doing that because they love basketball.
Yeah.
So to me, like, having a constant adversarial relationship with officials isn't beneficial. It doesn't serve you well. They're human. Yeah. So they would rather know you're a good guy than being a jerk to them all the time. Now, listen, do you bring things up here and there? For sure. I mean, there's always been a coach-official interaction as part of the game. But I do, honestly, and I'm not just saying this, but I do respect those guys. And, and if they were great guys, you'd probably sit down and, if they were here, you'd probably have a drink with them because they're all just normal guys just like you. And, they're fascinated with what you do. And I'm always like, how did you end up deciding to be an official? That's a horrible decision. We have good relationships and good banter back and forth.
But is it important for a coach to establish that relationship game by game? So they understand.
I think it all depends on your personality. I think the number one thing is you need to authentically be yourself with the officials. Don't try to be somebody different, because I think if you're trying to be something different, I don't think it shows well.
Okay. All right. And Marco would like to know here, and I know this is jumping way ahead, but are there players on your team that you see not entering the draft this year? I'm not going to put that out there, but just guys that have that potential to be playing at the next level.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think this is one of those teams that you're going to look back in 4 or 5 years and you're going to have 6, 7 NBA players. I mean, they're all not going to go at the same time. But, we've had teams like that before. I think if we look back to our first year, you had Ben, Christian, Dalen, Pella. We missing anybody? Mizzou had a sniff, and now Zoo's actually playing great in Europe at a really high level.
Okay, good.
I mean, are we missing anybody? I mean, there's 5 guys right there, and then, so I think this is going to be one of those teams where you're going to look back in a few years and think man, we had a lot of guys, and that's exciting stuff.
I know you don't have much spare time, but do you ever sit and go, if there's an NBA game on TV with one of your former players, do you always try and check in?
I'll watch for a few minutes. I've caught some of Caleb's games lately. I'm just really happy for him. He's had such a journey, and to ultimately get there, it's been pretty cool. And now he's got to establish himself and make it. And I think that he will. But yeah, I mean, I watch basketball. I'm like I said, I'm not into all these series or these shows. So at night, I usually flip on basketball. And college is usually the first preference, but definitely I'll tune into some NBA games if our guys are playing.
All right. I know you and Coach Brennan have a great relationship. You guys get to talk a lot. Do you ever discuss strategy at all? Do you talk football? Does he talk basketball?
I mean, I think we should be punting more. I mean, I'm a big punt. No, not really. I mean, I love football, but that's his space, and we're just friends, and we support each other. Because I mean, there's a lot of high pressure to what we do, and I think to have a support system, with somebody who's not a basketball coach is a good thing to have, and he and I definitely have that relationship.
And he'd like to punt less, right? Less punting for his team.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no question. Okay. No question. Yeah.
All right, well, Coach, great to be 10-0 right now. Best of luck Saturday, and we'll see you back here in January. Happy holidays. Oh, wait, we have one other thing going on tonight. Where's Warner? Where's Warner? Come on, Warner. We're already late on this.
What is it? Is it Warner's birthday again?
No, it's somebody else's birthday. And whose birthdays?
Well, yeah. Well, I'm not supposed to say it's my sister-in-law's birthday. She told me not to.
Okay.
Okay, and my birthday is not for a few days. So, huh?
Yeah, it's a few days.
Yeah. But We have a game first, so we have to worry about the game.
Okay.
Then we'll worry about the birthday.
That's it.
But
That's
I love
it?
you, Warner, and I appreciate you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, happy birthday in a few days, and happy holidays, and we'll see you back here in January.
And normally, guys, I would come out and say hi to everybody. I do have to run somewhere right away.
Got it.
There's another former Wildcat who happens to be a coach of a really good team, in the NBA, and I got to go. He's popping in town because he might be playing the Phoenix Suns, so he and I have to go do an event together real quick.
Okay.
So, but thank you guys for coming out. I appreciate all you guys. Hopefully, we'll see you guys at Phoenix, and then for sure see you guys back here in Tucson a couple days later.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
All right.
Brian.
Thanks, Coach. All right, Head Coach Tommy Lloyd here. The Wildcats and the San Diego State Aztecs Saturday night up in Phoenix. Again, tip-off right around 8:30 at Mortgage Matchup Center. All right, as promised, Brent Brennan, head coach of the Wildcats, headed to the Holiday Bowl, is going to join us when we come back, and we'll talk about Arizona and SMU. That game we're looking forward to on January 2nd over in San Diego at Snapdragon Stadium. That's all ahead. This is Wildcat basketball and football from Arizona Sports Enterprises. All right, welcome back to Union Public House. Earlier this season, Tommy Lloyd crashed the Brent Brennan show, so I think it's only appropriate that Brent comes back and crashes the Tommy Lloyd show, but for very good reason tonight, because the Wildcats are headed to the Holiday Bowl in San Diego with their 9-3 record, chance to get to 10 wins, which hasn't been done very often in school history, and we are excited to be there. I know the Wildcats, they sold out their original allotment of tickets. Fans are buying tickets to the bowl game and so on, and so, Coach, I can hardly wait to get there, and you guys are practicing, getting ready for it. So what's going on right now? What's practice been like?
Well, first of all, I'll tell you this. Arizona football are big Tommy Lloyd and Arizona basketball fans. Just what they're doing, watching them play, the effort, the energy, the physicality. He's got 3 or 4 guys I'm trying to get to come out for football, but I don't think he's going to let it happen.
Yeah.
But just what a great coach, great coaching staff, and I just love how those kids play. So it's fun for us to see them and support them playing such good football right now, such good basketball right now. And it's been really, really impressive. That win last weekend on the road, hostile environment, and running those guys off the floor like that was so big time. So really, really cool.
He was pretty nervous last night. You know that because, he had 9 wins. Your team had 9 wins. He says, I gotta stay ahead of him here now. So he's got 10. Now you're on to get number 10.
I'm chasing Tommy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, just in general, this is a great time because one of the benefits of the bowl game is you get extra practice time that not only helps the team prepare for the bowl game, but for the players returning next season now, this is additional time for them. Kind of take us through the value of that and what goes on during practice these weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really fine line because you're trying you don't want to turn bowl preparation into training camp. Because training camp is just such a physical grind. It's like hours and hours of practice and physical, and everyone's really beat up by the end of it because the goal at the end of the bowl practice is to be fresh and fast and ready to play your best football. But for us, we've had a lot of practice so far. It's been really good. The players, I will tell you this team likes to practice. Like they are about the preparation, and that's been a lot of fun. We've had great practices this week. We got another one tomorrow night. Just the way they show up for each other, the leadership on the team, Noah Fafita, Dalton Johnson, Trayden Stukes, Genesis Smith, they're just like so many of those guys, Ked Risano, just so many of those guys really stepping up and pushing the team in the practice environment has been awesome. And then the young guys are getting a lot of reps, right? Yeah. So those young players hopefully accelerating their development, kind of like an extra spring practice. And so it's fun to see those guys get out there and get knocked down and get back up and have to figure it out. So it's been a really good couple weeks.
I wanted to ask you about those guys. A lot of the players that took a redshirt season or didn't play this year but certainly have a chance to be in the rotation come next season. What do they learn here during these few weeks that can benefit them before spring practice starts?
Well, there's a couple things. The exciting thing is that some of these guys can play in this game because it doesn't count against their redshirt tally.
Okay.
Right? So there's a handful of players that we had chosen to redshirt that have played in 4 games, but now they're going to get a chance to maybe be involved in some special teams work or some of that, so they get another chance to get some more feel and speed of the game. The other reality is that for them, like the install, we're finally getting into it now, but our first 4 or 5 practices was a lot of fundamental work, kind of back to bases, blocking, tackling, running, catching, route running, just real detailed, real technical work. So they've been diving in and just really kind of, I think sometimes those guys don't feel like they're getting coached as much because it's one of the things actually Tommy and I talk about sometimes on a basketball team with 15 players, right? like those guys are all getting coached. You know what I mean? Because there's not as many people, but on a football field, there's 113. And so it's just a really big team. So sometimes those guys are not getting as involved in the game plan. So right now it's an opportunity for them to get coached. And, you know, the receivers are getting coached by Bobby Wade. And Big Josh is coaching the O-line. And, you know, that part of it, Coach Salavea is chewing out the D-line. You know, so like everybody's getting reps and everybody's getting ready to go. It's been fun.
That's great to have Brent Brennan here, head coach of the Wildcat football team, headed for the Holiday Bowl, of course. All right, SMU, I just wanted a couple questions about the Mustangs. 8-4 out of the ACC. Just looking at their raw numbers, there's some similarities there. Both teams, Arizona, SMU, play very strong defense. Both teams have an outstanding, experienced quarterback. What do you see of the Mustangs on film?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good football team. A year ago, they were in the college football playoff, right? Like they really are well coached. You know, the quarterback is a magician. He's got a really dangerous arm, but like when he gets out of the pocket, he breaks contain. He's a really, really explosive and dangerous player. They got a couple big-time wideouts that they've done a good job getting the ball to. They want to play fast. They want to score points. That part of it, you know, they got a mature offensive line. All those guys, they got one sophomore, but everybody else is, you know, upperclassmen and big bodies. I would say defensively, their D-line is huge, and all those guys have double-digit tackles for loss and you know 5 to 8 sacks each, and so they've done a great job of getting to the quarterback and putting pressure on the quarterback. Really, really impressed by them. And then they have a safety who's an NFL player, Ahmad Moses, just fantastic player, and so he's somebody that we're going to have to know where he's at on the field all the time. So the matchup is tough.
Does SMU compare at all to any team that you played this season?
You know, it's funny because they played a team that they played one team that we played, but they played them really early in the season. So you don't really, you know, it's kind of when you play people in your schedule, it really changes because you're a different football team at different times of the year. So you know, I don't know if there's anybody that I'd really compare them to. I think offensively they're a little bit like Baylor. You know, they're great moving the ball. Great, the quarterback is an outstanding player. I'd just say the difference is that the quarterback from SMU is much more dynamic with the ball in his hands when he breaks contain, when he gets out in the open, run around, make big plays.
Okay. We're going to take a break here. We'll hang out with Brent Brennan here for a couple more minutes after that. Look forward to the Holiday Bowl coming up in San Diego. This is Wildcat Football from Arizona Sports Enterprises. All right, welcome back, Union Public House. Happy holidays, everybody. Wildcats headed for the Holiday Bowl, and we're pleased to have with us Brent Brennan, head coach of the Wildcats, as we get set. Preparation continues, of course, for that game before the Wildcats will head over to San Diego just after Christmas. And since the team's going to be here for Christmas, do you have any plans here in Tucson with all the guys?
Right. Yeah. So actually, because the bowl game is so late, they get to go home, which is actually kind of a great thing. It's the benefit of having a late bowl game. They get to go home for I think 3.5, 4 days. Wow. You know, in the middle there, and then they come back here and we practice for a day or 2 days, and then we take off. All right. And we get ready to play. So, but yeah, like that part of it is kind of nice because that's one of those things, especially those freshmen. They're missing their family. They get to go home, be with their family for the holidays. So that's a real benefit of playing a bowl game in January.
All right. Very nice. I know towards the end of the season we talked about this when you were here on a weekly basis, but the transfer portal will open up in January, and so I'm not asking you specifics about any players, but as you kind of ramp up for that, I know you guys are watching the portal all the time, or actually when it opens, but some guys around the country have already made it known. When do you have to wait until it opens to contact them, or can they contact you?
You have to wait till it opens.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I don't know if everybody does that, but you're supposed to play by the rules.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
Okay. But can they? So when the portal opens, so you can contact them. But do you also receive then calls?
Yeah, absolutely. I think obviously we're in a new era of college football, college athletics in general, and I think this will be the biggest portal, the biggest opening day portal we've ever seen. And I think last year, we had. The first day, I think we had 8,000 players hit the portal the first day. So it is really different than college football. College athletics used to be, but you have to have a plan for it, and you have to be ready for it. And for us right now, the biggest, most important thing is retaining our players and retaining as many of our players here at the University of Arizona that have played great football this season and contributed to this awesome season. We want to keep as many of those guys, wearing the red, white, and blue as we possibly can.
All right, so it's December, I don't know, is this the 17th or 18th?
17th, I believe.
Okay, it's 80 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Your team's 9-3. They're going to a bowl game. Why would you even think about going anywhere else?
No, I agree. I agree. This is an incredible place to live. got a great university. We have great fan support. It really is a special place. And I think our guys feel that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think sometimes for some of these young men, there's forces pulling, pushing them in different directions that are not necessarily themselves. And so they're trying to navigate whatever that is, family, agents, whatever. But, you know, I do think our players are having a great experience being a part of the Tucson community and the University of Arizona community. It is a really special place. And we were standing out of practice today, and it was 75 degrees.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like not bad.
Not bad at all. Yeah, the rest of the country is kind of suffering right now, so it's great to be here. Okay, just one other portal thing, and that is that your team, you and your staff hit it, if that's the right word, because sometimes you don't know. Guys come out of the portal, especially if they haven't played at the Division I level. You don't know. You had, I'll tell you, two guys in particular, Quincy Craig out of Portland State, Riley Wilson out of Montana. Those two guys obviously have been major parts of your team. The success rate has to be very important, you know, that you want to get out of the portal. And so, you know, how do you determine that? Is there any way? I mean, you were successful at it, and I know you want to do it again. But how do you judge that?
No, I think it's really hard. I think you're always trying to, it's a little bit of a projection. How do they fit what we do? How do they fit in our scheme? So I think you got to have a good eye for the evaluation of what they are, who they are athletically. You know, it doesn't matter what level they played at. The evaluation is the evaluation. And if the evaluation is that they're good enough and they can help us be better, we're going to go get them. And so it is really, really challenging. And with so many players flooding the portal, the legwork is extreme. Right, so we get back from the bowl game on January 3rd, and the portal's open. So we're literally be coming back on the 3rd right into official visits with recruits who are in the portal. So it's the, you know, at some point in February we're going to have to take a breath.
Yeah.
But you know, not until our roster is done.
Sure. I didn't want to spend too much time on that, but it's important because fans are, you know, this is part of college athletics right now.
Absolutely.
We just adjust to it. All right, both SMU and Arizona will have, you know, the same time between games. You get to practice and everything, but is it almost like the season opener? I'm thinking in terms of just physically being ready to play that bowl game. Is there any?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things in the practice environment you're trying to like really, really pay attention to. Just the stuff that is fundamental: blocking, tackling, special teams, like some of those things, because there has been such a gap between the last time you played. Because I felt like we played great at ASU, and we were really excited about how we played that night. And so, but then you have a month plus until you play again, right? And so, trying to create as many of those intense, you know, as much game-like situations as you can in practice. Try and keep, keep the, everybody sharp and ready to go. And that part is challenging. And that's, so you're right on. That's a huge focus for us.
Okay. Without mentioning any names specifically, some of the guys that were banged up late in the season, do you see guys coming back that maybe were hurt late that might have missed a game or two?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the benefits. Like the late bowl game gives us some time, and you know, I think because we do play a physical brand of football, we were pretty beat up at the end of that season. And so we did need a little bit of recovery time. We had to be smart how we practiced early on in this cycle, getting ready for the Holiday Bowl. But the players are doing great. You know, the guys are coming back, guys are ready to work, and we had a great practice today. And so I'm excited about that. This team loves being around each other. They're there for the work. They're there to work for each other. And they want this thing to end the right way. And so that's what we're excited about, as we kind of keep trying to build momentum as we get closer and closer to kickoff.
All right, so you brought in 3 new coordinators this past season. All of them obviously had a very positive impact on the program. What's the next step now? I mean, do you go back during the offseason now and, reevaluate things and sit down with those guys and say, okay, we did really well. What can we do better?
Yeah, you're always trying to elevate your football team. You know what I mean? And so, well, once we get done with the portal madness, that when we get into February and start our preparation for spring practice, then we'll start going through every game, every play that we ran this year in all 3 phases: offense, defense, special teams, and it'll be an extremely thorough, evaluation of what we did, everything from the choices we made by play call, whether it was down and distance or situational, or what we did in terms of our personnel, and who was available that week and what we tried to run, or what was successful or what wasn't. So that part of it is a real tedious process, but it's also a very important process because, I'm sure Tommy will tell you, with all the success they've had with the men's basketball team here, if you can tweak one little thing and it makes you a little bit better, it's worth it. And so you spend so much of your off season trying to find those little things that you think, okay, this can make us a little bit better, because those things add up, and all of a sudden it adds to another win, or it adds to a higher level of play, and that's what everybody wants to do.
All right, well, we're looking forward. This is going to be fun. It's a great bowl game. It historically has been one of the best year in and year out. You've got two outstanding football teams going at it, so I can hardly wait till we get to San Diego.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Buy your tickets. I mean, that part, last night they told us there's only 5,000 tickets left.
Okay.
So it's like people, with all of our alumni in the state of California, the proximity to the state of Arizona, all that, it's been pretty impressive, the response for tickets. Our allotment sold out in less than a day. Yeah, so it's pretty exciting.
All right. Best of luck, Coach. Thanks for dropping by to visit us. We'll see you over in San Diego.
Thanks.
All right.
Great seeing y'all. Bear down.
Head Coach Brent Brennan here at Union Public House. We'll wrap it up in a moment. This is Wildcat Football from Arizona Sports Enterprises. All right, just a couple minutes left here. A reminder of some upcoming events. This will be our final show here at Union Public House for December. We're back here on Thursday, January 8th, and then every Thursday night through the end of the regular season with head coach Tommy Lloyd. The Wildcats will play San Diego State this Saturday up in Phoenix, right around 8:30 tip-off. And tickets still available for that through Ticketmaster or HOFseries.com. As Coach Brennan just mentioned, just 5,000 seats left over at Snapdragon Stadium for the Holiday Bowl on January 2nd. That game's going to kick off, by the way, if you're going to the game, and I know a lot of you are, keep in mind, because I always get confused myself, they are on Pacific time now, so that game's going to kick off at a little after 5 o'clock Pacific time in San Diego. For those staying here, we will be on the air about that time, and kickoff will be at 6 o'clock Mountain Time. That's on January 2nd. Back to basketball for a moment. Just a reminder of what's coming up here after the game on Saturday. The Wildcats are back at McHale Center on Monday night against Bethune-Cookman, 7 o'clock tip-off. Then a week later, December 29th, against San Diego State, also at 7. The conference opener at Utah on January 3rd, and the conference home opener on January 7th. That's a Wednesday night against Kansas State, 7 o'clock at McHale Center. Happy holidays, everybody. Thanks for coming by. If you're going to be here, hang around. One's All is the band playing here on the stage coming up in just a bit. Enjoy the holidays and bear down.